Hi and welcome. So today I just want to be practical and I want to answer to a question that is recently and often asked on this channel and on my other channel, also on Des. The question is, can you record with the Canon EOS M and Magic Lantern like for an hour? And today I want to answer, and let's just do the practical on a practical way. So as you can see it here, I am on the Canon EOS M with the Magic Lantern, and I am on the crop mode preset 1:3, 5.2K and 14 bits. I am on the ISO 100 and I'm using a 50mm lens. With the aperture, I am at 1.7 f-stop and of course inside, right? So without further ado, let's just do this experiment. And what I will do right now, I will just use my, remote controller to start to record this footage. So 1, 2, 3, and here we are recording. And no, unfortunately, you see, you have seen it. I had an error message, and this thing can happen with the Canon EOS M. But let's just try again. 1, 2, 3, and record. And this time you can see we are recording and we are in orange. And that's a good thing. Being in orange, we can have the recordings long as much as we do have space on the SD card. So for this exercise, I will do a recording. We will go to 1 minute. That it's fair and it will help us with the case study that I want to do today to give correct and proper answer to the question. And we are almost at 1 minute. I'm just watching because I don't want to allow us more than 1 minute. I think 1 minute is a good answer, and I will say to you why. So we are at 1 minute and I will stop the recording. So the recording is stopped. And now what we will do, we will take that file and we will examine a little bit the recorded file. But if you don't know, I want to remember you a little bit, or if you never used the Canon EOS M and you are here first time, welcome. On this channel, I'm presenting you budget ideas to be able to create short films and cinematic sequences, but really on low budget. And the first thing that I thought is the best way to learn to create footages, learn color grading, learn, but mostly recording, framing concepts and a bunch of other things is with the Canon EOS M paired with the Magic Lantern. The Magic Lantern, it's a software that you will install not on the Canon EOS M, but on the SD card that you insert in the Canon EOS M. So the Canon EOS M will always have his proprietary software, the Canon software. What you will do is, update the firmware version to put it on a 2.2, and then you insert the SD card with the Magic Lantern on the SD card. And then when you are doing this firmware update, in fact, it will open the ports between the Canon EOS M software and this Magic Lantern software. So the Magic Lantern will work always from the SD card. Now, this is important to understand because you have to realize that the SD card already is used for an application that is working continuously. In the moment when the magic lantern appears on the screen, that means that the software is used. So there's a writing reading speed between the SD card and the Canon EOS M system. And then when you proceed to record the footage, then you have to understand that besides the recording footage, what is happening on the SD card, meaning that those big raw video files are registered on the SD card. Beside that, there's the software also who is working from the SD card. So there's quite impressive data which is going from the camera system to the SD card, and that's something that you shouldn't overlook. That's why, for example, we need that high reading and writing speed SD cards, which are quite expensive, right? But arriving at this idea that we are recording raw footages, my question would be, why would you want to record 1 hour, for example, of raw footage? Do you understand what is the file size of 1 hour raw footage? If you don't, we will check it out today. That's why I decided to record only 1 minute of raw footage to show you the file size and then decide and show it to you how much 1 hour of recordings would be as a file size. Here we find ourselves in front of the computer, and I have in my hand the SD card, the SanDisk Extreme Pro version. It's quite expensive, this SD card, but it must if you want to have a good experience with the Canon EOS M and Magic Lantern, right? Okay, so let me just put it in to the SD card reader, and here we have the card. So we have the Magic Lantern on it, DCIM 100 Canon, and we have the 2 files. Yes, because the first, it got that error, but doesn't matter. We will take both of them. Now, let's just take the second one, which is 1 minute, because I want to show you something. So just on the desktop, I will copy it right here. And look at here. This is important. So you see here. So 1 minute, 5.38 gigabytes of disk space. This is how large file it is for 1 minute. 1 minute, it's 5.38 gigabyte of disk space. It occupies this file. Now, the first one. Okay, so here it is. The first one was really a small one. So what we are doing now, so I have the 2 of them here. Let me just open the MLV app, and on the MLV app, we will load both of them. So the first, let me just show you like this. So we have the first. We started, and very quickly we got an error. Here it doesn't show the error because only on the screen. So you could see the error on the screen. And secondly, we have that longer where we have recorded for 1 minute. Now in the MLV app, up here you have an eye. So this is for showing the clip information. So let's just see the clip information. So we can see it here, from where it's coming, the footage, Canon EOS M. Lens here, it doesn't mark, but we have the focal length, 50 millimeter. So as I told you, it's a 50 millimeter focal length. Then here we have the resolution. So it's 1736 by 2214 pixels. And the duration, as I told you, and as we did, is 1 minute, right? And that we had an ISO of 100, 14 bits raw, and then we have all the other information. I can reveal it here, and again we can see it if we read the information one more time. So 1 minute, right? Because it says even here when I started to record. So 1 minute, it's 5.38 gigabytes. So, I mean, if 1 minute is 5.38 gigabytes, then 10 minutes is how much? Is 15. So it's 10 minutes. And if we go 1 hour, then we have the results, right? So it's enormous as a file size. Now, if the file size doesn't, put you in a standby and say, okay, it's huge, it's big, I don't want 1 hour of recordings, then let me just show you, let me just continue to show you the next step. So you have opened it in the MLV app, right? So this is the one, the second, because the first is just an error, right? So let's say we want to work with it. So we do a few, things like, for instance, we adjust a few things that we want to adjust. I hope you can see the adjustments that I'm doing, right? For example, so like for adjustments, let's just go to see a little bit of exposure. Let me just expose it like this, put a little bit of contrast. Let's go a little bit of clarity, not much. We don't want a lot. Let's put a little bit of vibrance, a little bit of saturation, maybe not that much, like this. Dark strength, light strength, a little bit like this. Highlights, we don't want, maybe let's cut back the highlights, shadows. I mean, let's just leave it like this, shadows. What we want, other thing, I mean, what I do as modification, let's go a little bit with, uh, let's just leave it like this. Let's sharpen it a little bit just. And then we have the options, so we can transform it in Rec 709, Sony S-Log 3 or DaVinci Gamut, right? Let's leave it in Rec 709 and just do the transformation. Now we have multiple options. I'm using the CDNG, right? But if you want, we can go otherwise. Apple ProRes. Okay, Apple ProRes 422 HQ, right? Okay, let's do that. Let's just record it where, let me just place it. Let's just place it on the desktop, create a folder, and the folder name testing, right? This is the purpose, testing. So this is the ProRes. ProRes 422HQ, right? And then go. Now this, as you can see it here, we are talking about 1 minute, right? 1 minute, it takes around 11 minutes to do it. And if it's 11 minutes to do it, to convert it, the raw file, the 1 minute raw file to ProRes 422HQ, how about, what do you think, how much will take to convert a file of 1 hour? So 10 minutes, 1 minute, 1 hour, so 60, you have there the result. So it takes a lot of time. And the other problem is that you can really arrive to have the file corrupted, for example. And that's just crazy. I mean, imagine yourself if you are doing that job, you are recording that sequence, you manage to record 1 hour, and you will work with huge, humongous file size. Now, Lord have mercy if that file gets corrupted, or whatever can happen with that huge file size. So this is where I wanted to arrive, to tell you that the Canon EOS M with the Magic Lantern recording RAW, it's not for interviews or long recordings period, like 1 hour, even 30 minutes. I wouldn't advise to record, but small bits and pieces, right? Like, let's see, okay, 1 minute, but look at 1 minute also. So we still have 8 minutes to wait until this file size is, finished. I mean, it's just crazy, right? It's a lot. And maybe if you have a very powerful computer, you can save there, but we are talking about budget. If you are already searched things for a budget, then obviously you do not have a super hyper computer to do the job in a few seconds. So yes, with recording RAW, you don't want big file sizes. And big file sizes, that means minutes also. So you do not want to record minutes on the Canon EOS M and Magic Lantern. Seconds are enough. You can record minutes also, multiple minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but it's not reliable. You can manage, I manage, just for testing purposes, I recorded multiple minutes, 30 minutes, but I needed already an SD card with 256 gigabytes of disk space. And secondly, the files were so big that it took me a lot of time to transform it. Like this one, you see, it's still working now. Maybe because I'm using OBS and other softwares. Probably if I would hit, stop the OBS, maybe it would it would do it quickly. But I mean, it just doesn't make sense to record, big file sizes. But you see, this is not so, it it's not a long duration. It's just 1 minute of footage. But 1 minute of footage is 5.38 gigabytes of, it's taking 5.38 gigabytes of this space. So there's enormous data on it. So you see, I'm just at the half of it. I'm a ProRes 422 HQ. So it takes quite a lot of time to do this. I wouldn't recommend it. So I think yeah, it's just enormous. Okay, so the export is ready. Obviously, I had to speed it up because I imagine you didn't have the time, nor I wanted to waste your time watching for 8 minutes how this is doing the export. So it's, you know, it's crazy, but this is how it is. And then let's just do again this time. Let's do with CDNG, what I'm using in the nowadays mostly. Let's see how much it takes for that one, or for the CDNG. So you see with the CDNG, it doesn't really take that much of a time, like with the ProRes 422 HQ, for example, because both of them, I think because the CDNG, it's closer to the raw files and doesn't necessarily needs to transform a lot of data. This is what I think. I mean, you have seen it with the ProRes 422. It took like 8-9 minutes, and with this one it says 2 minutes and it is finished. So now I will stop talking because I will speed up to gain a little bit of time. Okay, so this one also is, the export is ready. So let's just head to the directory, quit without saving. So we have the testing, and let me just, I want to put this one also because this is quite important to see the difference. So the raw file size, the MLV file is 5.38 gigabytes. Yes, Magic Lantern video. Transforming it to 422 HQ, we are at 8.2 gigabytes, right, for 1 minute. So this is all for 1 minute. And the other one, this one, I don't know, it doesn't says, but let's just check out here. Here we are at 10.17 gigabytes, right? So these are, in fact, the sizes for 1 minute of video, raw video recorded with the Canon EOS M using the Magic Lantern. And we are at the crop mode 1:3 for 5.2K 14 bits RAW. So probably if we go down to, I don't know, 2.5K, obviously it will be less. But I wanted just to show you that raw file size for 1 minute is 5.38 gigabytes of MLV Magic Lantern video, raw video file size. For 1 minute video transforming to ProRes 422 HQ is 8.2 gigabytes for 1 minute. And then here, and this one, the CDNG is 10 gigabytes and 10.17 gigabytes for 1 minute video. I mean, for an hour, so this is 1 minute. You do the math, and I mean, it's it's huge. You don't want to do that. It's even 1 minute. It's it's enough. It's a lot, right? So, and then, but I will include it in the final, cut, how it looks like. I mean, it's looking nice, fine. That's not the problem, but still, file size, it's just amazingly big. Hope this was, interesting, and you learned something, meaning that if you want to start using the Magic Lantern with the Canon EOS M and shoot RAW, don't even think about 1 hour or even more, or even, I don't know, 40, 30 minutes of recording. You see, the file size are enormous. It occupies a lot of space because there's a lot of data on it, and obviously you have to find so the usage for the Canon EOS M with the Magic Lantern shouldn't be in documentaries, in interviews, so long format. Is for short format, is for compositions that are made with small bits and pieces, like few seconds. Like, okay, let's say 1 minute here and there, but 1 minute should be, in my opinion, of course, 2 minutes already, it's way too much, but 1 minute should be the maximum. That you can go 3 minutes. But the files, the captions, the moments you are recording should be a few seconds, like, I don't know, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, not more, in my opinion, of course. Anyway, if you want really your composition to be interesting and grab attention, anyway, you shouldn't go over 1 minute. I mean, 1 minute, one caption is way too much. So it's great. It's a humongous, enormous opportunity for short films, for cinematic, B-rolls, commercials. Why not? Because at commercials or short films, you can redo it, the sequences. You can reshot if you have, even on those seconds, you have, for some reasons, errors, shutdowns, or whatnot. Doesn't matter. You can redo it. But on an interview, just imagine somebody's talking like, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and there's an error. There's an instantaneously shutdown of the Magic Lantern. What do? Oops. Can we retake it? Can you repeat what you just said in those 20, 50 minutes? It's just not usable. I wouldn't advise anybody to think of the Canon EOS M or the Magic Lantern to start to create long dialogues. I mean, dialogues, okay, one question, one quick answer, one question, one quick answer, why not? But long, recordings, no way. I wouldn't advise you at all. So if you start with the Canon EOS M, but firstly, the most important thing is to learn what Magic Lantern offers you. Learn to understand what is a vectorscope, histogram, force color, zebras? How do you interpret? How do you understand those elements? How you frame your shot? How the concept of filming? This is what this is where the Canon EOS M with the Magic Lantern shines. It will help you to become a good cinematographer, a good artist, a visual artist. You will learn how to color grade, because recording raw, even if they are just a few seconds, you have the possibility in post production. You can do whatever you want with the footages. You see with the transformation. You can use ProRes 422HQ, LT, ProRes 4444, or CDNG raw files, where it's amazing what you can do. So this is really, from my point of view, the Magic Lantern. And you have to understand, Magic Lantern, it's like a beta version of a software. It is with bugs. It is with errors. You will have when you do not expect. I'm always telling, okay, I'm in Orange, you can record as much as you want, but then it can happen. Even for me, it happens that I'm in Orange and there's a bug, there's an error that appears out of nowhere. This is how it is. This is a software that is in development. The people who have created, they gave their free time, and they created something wonderful, but not without bugs. It's not the perfect software. And just to understand, this software it doesn't have his own camera. So how it works, this software, is that it's in direct contact with the Canon camera, but it's working from a SD card. So it doesn't replace the Canon proprietary system. It's not installed on the Canon flash memory or whatever. It is on an SD card, and it's working from the SD card. And there's just some doors ports that are open, and he manages to is in collaboration, if you want, with the Canon EOS M sensor, and is using the sensor to record raw footages, which are again recorded on the same SD card. So the redundancy, just imagine. So there's multiple ways why, or multiple things or explanation why an error can appear, because it's doing a lot of work, that SD card. The SD card is making the Magic Lantern to function, but also records raw footages which are really big. Takes a lot of disk space, but quite a lot of reading and writing speed. And although maybe not high in the megabytes transfer, but there's multiple channels and ports that are working on the same time. And because of that, not really, so there are errors that can appear. So again, I hope this was informative, and you know why today my answer is that no, it can, in the best circumstances, record 1 hour, but then working with that 1 hour raw recording file size is just impossible, in my opinion, of course, because you have to have a hyper super computer, and then what you are doing with the Canon EOS M, maybe having fun. But then if you do afford a computer that can work with hundreds of gigabytes of one file size, then obviously you can have another cinema camera that can record raw footages without errors, without bugs, and you don't have to worry. See you in my next video. Bye.